VR has been a part of my life for many years now, since basically the start of a little known game called VRChat. I used to play VRChat for hours on end each day I got home from work, each day I woke up on the weekends, and anytime I was even able to. I met so many different people in the game, it was quite frankly insane. This game was essentially what brought me into the VR industry. It's pretty amazing that a game that had Ugandan Knuckles was my entryway into such an enjoyable hobby. VR has grown so much since it was first announced by, get this, Razer and Senzix. This was an OS VR headset which I didn't even know about since this video. I always thought that the first PC VR headset was Oculus, but apparently it isn't. There are a lot of different ways I could explain how VR changed much of my life. One crazy example is that I met some of my best friends through VRChat, and I've had the best times of my life playing these games with such amazing and wonderful people. And the fact that these friendships stayed the same throughout each game. These small yet incredible differences transformed my world, all because of a singular bit of technology. VR has even changed how I see games. Like, I literally look at games nowadays and assume if it would be a good VR game or not. Take Lethal Company for example. That game is amazing in VR. The VR mod by I believe Daxus is absolutely one of my favorite ways to experience the game now. It makes each moment so much more horrifying to manage, especially with Coilhead being there. The same goes for the game genres. Since I'm a game designer, I like to look at game genres and sometimes think how good it could be in VR as well. VRChat was this game that was full of creativity and avatars that blew your mind. Every day I was in game, I witnessed something that was absolutely insane due to the fact that at the time, we had ripped models from games as avatars. We had such an old version of Unity and barely had any real tools to create worlds and avatars with. People still managed to make these insanely unique and well-crafted worlds, and some even added game mechanics inside them. Even the avatars people made changed the world around you whenever they used specific emotes. This was incredibly impressive, especially due to the limitations creators had at the time. VRChat may not be the same as it once was, but you can still meet some seriously cool people and witness such beautiful worlds crafted into perfection. Even better, the worlds made now have tools specifically designed to create the mechanics you want, and it helps young adults who want a future in the programming or game industry to put their effort into something that can be used in a portfolio. It literally creates jobs. People have made studios to create Roblox maps that have made them tons of money. VRChat has implemented the VRChat Plus program to give these exact creators a way of income. I think some of the worlds can be shockingly gorgeous for a VRChat world and can change how some people view the game. Sure, at the current state, people see the game as full of ERP and nude avatars, but that's really not the entire population of the game. Consider the quote, "You can't judge the many by the actions of the few" by Michael Buckley. With VRChat, don't judge the game based on the few that have experienced the weird side, and focus on judging the game based on the creators who have made wonderful worlds and avatars. I've met people that have had their entire lives change for the better. Some met their significant other or even married them. Each time I spoke to someone, they actually explained their headset and why they liked it the most. VR headsets have so many different variations, and so many people have differing opinions on them. Someone could seriously still enjoy the Oculus headset all the way back from 2016. Imagine that. I've met people who will not play on PC VR, not because they have a bad computer, but due to the fact that they didn't have a wireless headset or adapter. Over time, they looked for alternatives and actually switched back to the Index because of the Novi wireless adapter, and they have not gone back. The headsets I'd love to try out are quite vast actually, especially the big screen Beyond. Pimax has also caught my attention, more ideally the Pimax Crystal with the base station attachment for it. One specific VR addition I want is eye and facial tracking, because I plan to get a VR model and start doing some of these videos with them, and man, that would be an absolute blast to just show my emotion with each word spoken and each sentence said with excitement or happiness. The variety of accessories for VR is insane, considering how little big companies want to invest in it. The full body tracking is probably the biggest accessory for the population, but even headset straps are up there. There's also controller silicone covers or headset gaskets, even headset covers. Yeah, covers for the headset itself. Skins are also an accessory for some VR headsets, and I never expected that to be a thing, so who knows what's next. These crazy accessories got me looking all over the internet at 4 a.m. just to find new and wild ideas for VR. Like, who could even think of some of these ideas, at least as a start? One big reason VR changed my life is the people who surround me in my day-to-day life. My normal editor for these videos, at the moment I'm actually scripting, editing, and uploading for now, is my best friend. We don't talk daily, we don't hang out 24/7, but we're there for each other. And we met in a Cafe LeBlanc from Persona 5 inside of the VRChat map. Dude was sitting down at a booth, and I was just running around meeting random people. In my first time with a VR headset, this man single-handedly changed the entire course of my life. I'm not saying go out and get a VR headset, but if and when you do, I promise you will find someone like my editor who is your closest friend. The amount of changes a simple VR headset can do for someone is endless. Take for example how I see games. Earlier I spoke about Lethal Company and the VR mod, but that's not the only modded game with VR. There are so many different mods with VR for games, and actually the Unreal Engine Inject mod from PreyDog is insane for that exact reason. Even with older games that just had VR added are wild, like Alien Isolation. That game was horrifying on its own, but with VR? Oh my god. I threw away my headset a few years back when I was streaming, and it was hilarious to watch. Considering streaming that again actually. VR changed how I view almost everything. Each time I'm biking around the city, I see different construction sites, libraries, coffee shops, malls, really anything. I look at all these in the perspective of a VR game designer, and I still haven't even learned to create VR games yet. I look at these different places and feel like something can be made from it. Cafe simulator, construction simulator, literally a way to read books in any place in the world that you want to inside VR. A VR horror game about a liminal space and a mall. Really anything can be worked into a VR game if it's designed and made well enough. I wanted to speak about how VR changed my life as one of my first videos because I really wanted to hear about others' experiences that differ from mine. Learning about experiences will always be some of the most enjoyable ways for me to understand specific hobbies for me. Being able to express my love for something and hear back some great stories from others can change how I see specific views. Take for example, people can see more nude avatars or wild NSFW worlds instead of pretty and fun worlds for VRChat. That can change my view on the people that are sort of NSFW being the minority in VRChat. I personally have not been able to meet many of those people, but I know there are some out there. Even if someone has commented about loving the Big Screen Beyond or Pimax Crystal, it changes how much I'd want the VR headset. There's so many different ways to sway opinions on specific products or ideals based on strong facts. And I just love talking about experiences in VR because they vary from person to person. I've met people who had awful experiences with other people in VRChat or other games, and I've actually met people who were literally saved due to others being there for them in VR. I've met people who have made VR mods, and people who have tested or tried every single VR mod they could find. I've also met people with the same ideal of looking at the world as one big VR game generator. These different experiences I've gone through have shaped me into the person I am today, and I wouldn't change anything if I had the chance. Maybe a little less cookies and more Beat Saber, but that would be it. Again, thank you all for giving me your time and watching till the end of the video. If you like the content, why don't you hit the like and subscribe buttons down below and share to your friends. Also, let me know your experiences in VR in the comments down below. I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace.